Oh, we're gonna finish our secret lock today. Here, this slides in front of that. This goes in there. There is a downside, it's not level and it's slightly inwards. So there's that one. But the main thing is, we'd got to that far, hadn't we? And we'd sort of, how can I explain it? I'd come to a blockage. My mind was blocked. Yeah. And I was talking to Steve, telling Steve about it. He says, I don't know how to proceed, sort of thing. And because the thing is, it's great in one way, being in your shed, you're on your own, nobody gives you any aggro. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. But also, sometimes you get yourself into a corner, you get yourself into a blockage, a mind blockage, and you tend to ignore it because no one's doing. You're not doing it for a customer. You're not doing it for a job. It doesn't matter if it stays there. If you do it, if you don't do it, it doesn't matter, does it? And I'd sort of come to like a blockage. I'd got so far, and connecting this to there, although it looks simple, easy to say, not easy to do. And if you're not confident, I'm Mr. Confidence himself, but sometimes I'm not confident, and I wasn't confident I was going to get success. So do you do it and fail, or do you don't do it? So anyway, so sometimes it's nice to have someone else and a different train of thought and a different idea and a different way of doing it. And I hadn't thought of, my problem was getting this to go onto there successfully. More like that, really. Getting this to go on there successfully. I was worried about burning through here and then losing this nut, and that would have been the end of that. But Steve came up with a much better idea, which was approach it from this end, and you're not going to hit the thread, so weld the top of it first. So he said to me, right, do this first and then go in there. Do you want me to do it for you? So Steve from On Tools was kind enough to make this for me, put this link on here, which I'm going to sort of change a little bit. But now, because the biggest problem, or the biggest mind block I've got, is if it doesn't work and it jams itself shut, it's there. How am I going to get away? How am I going to you're going to have to take the building down to get in. So it's okay making security, but you've got to make sure that A, it works, and B, it doesn't break on you. So anyway, we're moving forward. Thank you very much, Steve. Thank you very much for unblocking my mind drain, my whatever causes you to sort of forget about a job and let it go into oblivion. So anyway, we've got that now. You know about the span of the other side and the tube coming through, blah, blah, blah. We've got to now connect this here, which is way away from here, to make that smoothly go in and out. Somehow. That's why I've put a UJ joint there. I've put that there to hopefully take out it's not square, it's pointing in actually. It's actually going inwards, not outwards. And I've done such a weld on there, that's not going to adjust. We're going to have to make this fit that. As always in Reggie's world, we don't have to make it perfect. As long as it works, we don't care what it looks like. We don't care if it's a bit, or if it's a lot naff. It doesn't matter, as long as it works. So we're going to somehow get from there, by using the shaft we've decided on, and get over to there. So let's crack on, shall we? New toy day. So you can have I've just been playing with Charlie in the garden, so I'm full of hairs. I'm going to ruin this. You can have a Velcro pad, or you can change that pad out Hold on. Or you can have a spongy pad. Yeah, put a spongy one on it. Or you can square sanding, square man. Or you can have a Velcro. Hold on. Velcro one. Yeah, that's good. Hey, brilliant. A new Makita. So is it still called an orbital sander, is it? Or you can adjust the speed on it as well. A battery powered orbital sander with a little on off button and a little attachment for the hoover. Yeah. Hey, Milwaukee. Hold on. Look at that. Little button there. And the change of speed. That was on slow, that was. Let's put it on quicker. Change of speed, go up to 6. There we are, up to 6. Oh, lovely. Little hoover thing. Cracking bit of kit. Instead of a muck delivery, we've had an ad delivery. 3 more. Ooh, fantastic. Oh, we need, if your measuring is as good as my measuring, it's about there. So the middle's about there, isn't it? If your measuring is as good as me, and my measuring is about as accurate as throwing a stone, that's not quite. Oh, that might work in our favour. We'll have to remember that. And that goes, that's not quite. Look, there's a wobble on that, isn't there? So that might come in our favour, actually. Anyway, so when you're measuring, then measure halfway. So if your measurement is out slightly, you can adjust it in, and you can invert it out. So we're going to use that. We're going to set this in the middle and then measure from here. Yeah, so we've got that to play with, and we might even put a bit more depending on how we choose to get from here onwards. So let's put that in, and let's measure from there. So if your measurement is as accurate as mine, which is about as accurate as throwing a stone, then just build in adjustment. Same as this universal joint. If you're if something has to be absolutely bob on straight, but you're not really confident of making it bob on straight, well, give yourself a little UJ joint, a universal joint, and whenever the angle might be, up a bit, down a bit, left a bit, right a bit, the UJ joint will be able to accommodate you. Yeah, so it's almost like cheating. It has to be straight, but not spot on straight like a straight shaft, because one end might not match with the other. So we're going to have 2 UJ joints on here, so it will be, as long as it works, you don't have to be accurate. You just build in adjustment and build in movement. So one of the advantages of using brackets and tech screws, look, we this bracket is in our way, so we can just easily dismantle it with tech screws. I mean, if that was a nail, or even if it was a wood screw, you'd struggle with the end of it, wouldn't you? So that's why I like these tech screws, because you can make a shelf, but also you can easily unmake a shelf. Yeah, we need this out of the way. This bracket's out of the way at the moment. They've lost none of their ability to be used again. We'll be putting that back, maybe in a different position or a different way, hanging it from above than hanging it from below, or whatever we need. But you can take them out and easily reuse them. So these tech screws are fantastic for that job, and you get a good grip on the end. You're not fiddling with a flat head trying to screw it in. So we need to go from there, from that connection there, along here, via that to this connection here, that goes in and out, so we need to lose a piece of this corner of this shelf out there. Yeah, so let's cut a piece out there, allowing this to move up and down slightly. So we'll drill a hole in there. So there's the line of the shaft. If we go through here about there, we've got enough wiggle room up and down on that now, I think. Oh, that's a socket, that's a nut and a bolt, that's a box spanner, that's a socket, that's a socket thing. This is a bolt and a spanner. I'm going to change that into a nut and a bolt thing. Yeah, I'm going to change that. Weld a nut and a bolt in here and make that joint differently. That's too professional, too professional. I'm going to change that to a nut and a bolt. Sorry, Steve. Good idea though. Yeah, I want to keep the look of it, a nut and a bolt here. That's what it needs to do now, I think. Unwind the thread on that now. Couldn't do that. What's happening? Oh, it's coming up. Oh no, it's all right. Yeah, no, it's coming. It's coming off. Yeah, just wait for the clunk. Okay, wait for the clunk. Wait for the McClunk. Oh, we can do that end, can't we? Yeah, we can do this end, no problem. Yeah, that's going to be all right. We can just do this way now, can't we? And thread that off. Yeah. I want it to be more in keeping with this, more of a nuts and bolts thing. And like we did here, that's a bigger nut and a bolt, right? But what we can do here is use the right nut on it. So that's also a fixing and a bearing and a holding and everything. This is quite a sloppy joint. It's more like a tracker end joint really, isn't it? So the same, but a bit more like this. So let's get the whole nuts and bolts out and make a plan. Yeah. That's how many times we knacker the thread up. Weld that in there, easy. Well, this is to there as a pair, yeah, no problem. Weld this two together and then weld those two together in there and put this on the end of the shaft. Yeah, I think we've got a plan. We've got a plan. Let's see how many times I knacker up the thread and have to redo it. First job, make this fit that, or that fit this. Yeah, make that go in there. First job. We're nearly there, just a little bit more. Yeah. That's going to be like that. That's going to come out the shaft. This is going to be here. Yep, that's a good plan. Well then, that's not good. The piece I was, hold on. Yeah, the piece I was working on has just come apart in my hands. You didn't even put any strain on it. That's the danger, you see. You make something and if it breaks, it's broken and that's it. But anyway, at least it started to start off for me now. We'll redo that. But yeah, come apart. Tack it together. If you tied this up to that one, you'd have a locking nut. We don't want it to turn it into a locking nut. We just want it close enough so I can weld in here and that still, the thread still runs in and out. Yeah, so we'll do that now. We'll just tack this here, turn it around, tack the other side, then we've got something to work with. It's coming on quite nice. We've done that. We're doing this. Look, we can adjust, before we do the final, we can adjust this in and out as we want and cut the end off here if it's a bit long. It's going to come out the wall, it's going to turn, it's going to come down here. This is running nice and freely. Plus we've still got a grip on it, haven't we? So this can adjust up and down as we want. let's just, it's not going to drop off, is it? So let's put that together now and put an end on here. So the thread's turning, they're stuck together. Let's turn it round and do the other side now if I haven't welded it to the bench, look. So don't ask me why, but I'd somehow lost my welding mojo. Whatever, and I'd sort of stopped messing with it, hadn't I? And thanks to Steve, this will be the end of the shaft. It'll screw in there. This shaft will be fixed and along there. And here we are. We've got our push and pull movement now, haven't we? We've turned our, well, we will have turned our turning clockwise and anti-clockwise. We've turned that now into an in and an out. We're so close. So we've got to marry this up to the end of the shaft here. And we know there, and we've done there. Ooh, we're so close. We are so close. Next thing is sort of measure that. What you do is you tack it together first. You tack it together and then you go over it afterwards. Oh, that'll just knock and wire brush, maybe a bit more welding, whatever. Make that look tidy. How am I going to make it so I can dismantle it? Or am I going to have to make it? And the last connection to do here with this would be this here. Anyway, come on. Let's put that link in now from here to there. We've got adjustability here. We haven't really got much adjustability here. We should maybe do something here that we can do something with. That goes in nice and long, doesn't it? There's plenty of grip there. We've got control there. By the time this thread's on there and it's tied on, we will have control there. We're doing okay. Marrying this piece up to the final piece here now is the next, and of course measuring it correctly. So I think this will marry up to that. Okay, yeah, this will marry up to that. Okay, I need some sort of support there, like out here. I'm gonna need some sort of support. Run it to a bigger nut and then put a plate on it, something like that. This needs supporting. So, just hold the shaft, Reggie. Is that not a little bit OTT? Well, sort of, maybe. But it is going to hold the shaft. And that did fit in that hole there, accidentally on purpose. So it's going to do its purpose great. It's going to be great, isn't it? It just happened to fit. And it looks okay. So let's try that. Oh. It's sort of working, but sort of not working. It's fouling. I think this middle has to come up. Yeah, we need to come up half a hole, I think. Yes, yes, I can hear you. I can hear you screaming at the television. String line, Reggie, 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 Reggie. Put a string line. I'll show you where the straight line is. String line, Reggie. Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Well, string line doesn't seem to be far out. But yeah, it does need to come up half a hole, doesn't it? Yeah, that's the centre. From the centre of there-ish to the sort of centre of there-ish. Yeah, I don't know. Is that the centre? Am I going in too much, maybe? Yeah, probably am, aren't I? Let's bring it up and maybe shim it out, maybe. Yeah, let's do that. This is better. Yeah. This is better. This is much better. Ooh, I brought that up, spaced it off. I reckon all we have to do now is weld them two parts together, and I think we've got it. We'll have to find some way of, we'll have to put a stop end there, because if you pull it too far it drops out. But a stop end is no bother, even if it's a block of wood. Yeah, there's not going to be much movement in it, but it's going to do the trick. That's much better. That's much better. Yeah, that's a lot better now. Yeah. I'm going to leave you hanging because it's tea time. It's got lots of fettling to do with it to finish it. But basically, that is it. You know, grind the square, that one's welding there. This one's pulling in, the whole thing wants to pull in this way, which that will happen when that goes on the thread. That'll go in, this will come in, that'll square that up a bit better. We'll put the shelf back in, and basically, we've just a bit of fettling, that's all, a bit of adjustment and a fettling. That might have to come in. We'll have to put a stop on it, or a stop end on it, maybe, block of wood or something. Let's get that up there, tightened up tight. And then let's just follow it. This will be the secret lock. And yeah, okay, I'll make a big film about it. Try and find my old films, make it up. But anyway, woo! Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Steve, for giving me back my mojo. I'd sort of stopped, hadn't I? I'd stopped sort of inventing and welding and bodging and making a... So that goes there. It's a nice good connection there when it's done, and this is up secure. Anyway, that's all you're going to get. That's a teaser. But look, we are as good as done. Just a little bit of fettling left to do.